I'm Madhu Sharma and this is Design Mind. Every episode we teach your mind about design by analysing a website. In this episode of Design Mind we are looking at Cronection, which is a new project that aims to create a global marketplace for sharing services. The current site is a teaser page which has several nice touches. The front page opens with this emotive image showing a carpenter working on a project. This is a very natural pose. The man is not looking at us, but at his work. You can feel the love, care and attention he puts in it. The photo uses two techniques to enhance the emotional intensity of the image. The first technique is that it zooms quite close to the subject. For example, as we can see here, you can see the hairs on his forehead and nose. Zooming creates a sense of intimacy, as in real life we only get up close to people who we have a strong relationship with. The second technique is a use of a blur. As you can see, all the background detail has been blurred out. This simplifies the photo, as it hides all the distractions and clutter, allowing our attention to focus solely on the care this man puts in his work. In cinema films, character flashbacks are often blurred to signify that they are memories of the past. Hence, the blurring here subconsciously causes us to treat this scene as a precious memory. These are simple techniques, but they give this front page plenty of impact. Another great feature of this photo is the use of the eye gaze. As humans, we respond greatly to eyes. In this photo, the man is looking downwards, and so the audience's natural inclination is also to look down at the object he is working on. The site takes advantage of this by putting this headline and this tagline in the path of the gaze. This is a clever idea, as the purpose of the site is a bit complicated to summarise in one line, which creates the danger that the audience might gloss over it. Placing it here in the path of the man's gaze ensures that the audience can't help but read it, although it would have been nice if this part of the tagline started on a new line, as the way it intersects with the photo looks a bit untidy. Under the tagline we have this sign-up box, and underneath that is this arrow. The subtle animation that is used for the arrow is a great touch, as it's a good way of encouraging the user to scroll down without being overpowering. Clicking the arrow scrolls the user to this next section that explains the site's services in more detail. As mentioned earlier, the services of this site is slightly complicated, so the design used here is quite wise. It breaks down the services into the two key concepts of hours and points. The large image icons and big headlines make it easy for the user to understand these services at a glance. This next section explains the community side of the project. This section doesn't work that well, as this paragraph is a little bit too wordy. The dark background doesn't help, as it makes the text off-putting to read. However, the image of the happy people is good, as it adds positive vibes to the concept. This next vision section is very well done. Each element of the vision is distilled down to a bite-sized chunk. These appealing icons will encourage users to read the text. The background on this page, however, doesn't work that well. It consists of a very blurred image. The bit here seems to be a silhouette of a tree, although it's not that clear. It would have been better if they had just used a plain blue background, as the blurred image is slightly distracting. This final section repeats the sign-up box, which is a great way to end the page. The use of the background imagery adds positive vibes to the page, while the gaze of the subjects here directs the user's attention to the sign-up box, which is a nice touch. This Facebook widget is also good, as it shows a selection of people that have liked the page, which demonstrates that the site is achieving traction. One downside with all the sections is the pager here. Despite being the main way that the user flips through the sections, it has been set in a faint white colour, which can make it hard to see, especially on backgrounds that use pale colours such as this one. Although this is a one-page teaser site, it does have a blog section, which is accessed from the top navigation. We will now analyse this blog section. The blog section is photo-led, using relatively large-sized thumbnails to introduce each article. Hovering over them with the mouse triggers this smart scrolling animation. Let's finish this analysis by looking at the site on mobile. Like many sites these days, the mobile version simply collapses everything into one column. The text shrinks down, as we can see here. This reduces the scrolling, but in a lot of cases it also ends up becoming very small, which makes it hard to read. Because everything has just been collapsed into a single column, they haven't really paid much attention to how things look on mobile. So while the site is usable, the design isn't that fluid and is a bit disappointing, especially when compared to the desktop site. This vision section, for example, worked brilliantly on desktop, but on mobile everything is oversized, so it just becomes one big long tedious scroll. Overall, Cronnections is a good example of a teaser site. It has an excellent use of photography which helps to create strong emotional messages. It is very good at breaking down complex concepts into easy to understand chunks. It also brilliantly utilises the gaze of subjects to direct users to key messages. That's it for this episode of Design Mind. A new episode of Design Mind is released every Monday and Thursday. Find us on the web at designmind.info. Our YouTube channel is at youtube.com/designmindinfo. You can also find us on iTunes. We'd love it if you could leave us a review at any of these places. Until next time, happy designing!